there are several opportunities. But how do you leverage those opportunities rather than standing on your own? You cannot just say, "Oh, I want to be successful," especially in technology. "Oh, I want to be successful in tech. I want to do this. I want to do that."
Hello, welcome to another episode of Tech Talk with Toy Ifesan. And today I have with me Israelkuti, who will be sharing his success story and how he has successfully transitioned into tech from agricultural background. So, Israel, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Good day. Thank you so much.
Can you please let us understand how easy it was for you to transition from the agricultural background to tech that you're currently operating in?
So it's, I would say, it's not really an easy task, and then at the same time also, it's not something that is impossible. So the first thing that made it much more easier for me, I think it was opportunity. So that was like
Oh,
the first thing
okay.
that I spotted, that okay, there's an opportunity for me to be able to function in this particular space. And then if the opportunity is there, then what am I going to do to be able to key into that opportunity? So for me, that was like the first thing that like that spearheaded my transitioning into technology. So I saw an opportunity,
Wow.
or let me say I was given an opportunity, and then there is need for me to actually key into that opportunity. So it's now a question of, this is the opportunity. What skill do you have to be able to function in this particular space?
Thank you so much. So this is opportunity, right? I was actually thinking I was going to hear something like passion because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I have passion for it, so I then devoted to it and all that." But yes, opportunities are good, and how best to use the opportunities. But you see, I want to believe that you had challenges. The way it sounds now looks like it's so easy. Please, can you let us know how you were able to scale through these challenges?
Okay, so thank you very much once again. So I would like go back to what you said, that many people used to say passion, passion, right? So I think for so many people, the passion that people talk about is not really like interest. For so
Okay.
many people, it's always like the money part of it,
Oh,
right? So that was why I said that it was an opportunity. So I was looking for an opportunity to, yes, make money, find a source of living or livelihood, and then the opportunity that I could see was, oh, well, the agricultural, I studied agricultural engineering, but the agricultural space, there was no opportunity for me in the agricultural space. And then the opportunity that was available for me was IT. So if I'm going to be able to function effectively in the space of IT, then what are things that I need to do? So the second question, that was it really easy? I mean, it wasn't an easy task, really. It wasn't like a walk in the park. But I think one thing that drives the whole process is when you have the opportunity and then you are able to identify the skills that you currently have, and then the skills that you need to be able to function in that particular space. So that was basically what helped me. And then I had people around that made it easier for me. So it was very, very easy and swift for me to be able to say, oh, if I'm going to be functioning in this area, this is what I would need. These are the skills that I would need. So that was what the transitioning process was like for me. So it was easier for me to be able to move into that space. There were challenges, but having people around that could help me with how best to move, right? So I had people around, but it wasn't really much as what we used to have today, because then there isn't like really much information all over the place. But now we have more information. So I believe that it's going to be much more easier for people today than it was for me then. But yet I'm still grateful for those people that were able to like point me in the right direction.
thank you so much. So, from what you have said, I was able to pick something which has to do with your what you currently can do, like your current skills, right? That is the interest that you have,
Yeah.
and that you're able to pattern it. Identify the tech skills that you can integrate.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's look at let's I want you to talk to us and explain how people who are currently in doubt of the ability to take up technology, to learn the tech skills, what advice would you give to them? Because I know I've had a lot of people who say that, oh, I didn't study computer science, how do I then go into technology?
Yeah.
So please speak to that.
All right, so that's a very interesting question because you see people that would say, "Oh, I don't know." Let me start from this place. When you tell people about tech, what comes to mind is programming. What comes to mind is coding. So people basically believe that, oh, if you are into IT, you are probably doing programming or you are writing codes and or learning languages like Python and the likes. But that's not really what technology is all about. For me, I came from an agricultural engineering background, and then I was a content creator. So that was what helped me. I mean, I've acquired some skills in content creation, some tools that I've been able to use. So while moving into IT, those were the skills that I had then. And then I realized that, okay, if I'm going to be functioning in this particular space, I need more skills. I need to be able to add one or two things to the skills that I already have, right? So the skills that I had was what opened the door for me. Like those opportunities were there. I needed to key into those opportunities, so I was able to get the opportunity based on the skills that I have. And then now that these opportunities are available, what am I going to do to be able to what to sustain that opportunity that I have? So that was what led into learning those technologies. So for people that believe that, oh, I'm not coming from a tech background, I don't have any knowledge, I did not study computer science, really, technology is way easier than what we used to have back then. If you want to work in an IT environment, it's either you are maybe a network administrator or this hardware person that you can dismantle a whole desktop and fix it back from the scratch. But now there are so many career paths in information technology that does not even require all those technical part like coding and the likes. You talk about career path like maybe product management, UI, UX, and all of those things. So if people are trying to, if for example someone out there that's trying to come into IT, those are the things that you probably want to identify first. Okay,
Wow.
what are the skills that I have? Where am I coming from? Okay, what is that thing that interests me? And how am I going to be able to key into that thing that interests me? Like I said, the opportunity was available for me and I was able to key into it. But opportunities will come. The question now is, do they have the skills to be able to key into that opportunity? So that's what I think viewers that are watching now need to actually take note of. Like, the opportunities all over the place. Even now is much more easier. Global opportunities, remote jobs, and the likes. But what are the skills that you have to be able to compete with your global counterparts out there?
Thank you so much. You also talked about the word tech or the technology itself is not just about coding. There are quite a number of platforms. There are quite a number of applications that you can even build without having to code.
Yeah.
And there are quite a number of careers in tech that you can transition into. You mentioned product design, project management, and the likes. Interestingly, this will take me to the next question. You have talked about, I mean, from my experience or for what I know, who I know you to be, right? I know that you are multi-talented. You have skills in various technology, and I know that you have project management skills. You have the business analysis skills. You also even you are fully into the cloud computing technology. How were you able to, transition into this? How have you been able to marry this together? Because these are different platforms. Won't you, in a way, just get yourself disorganized somewhere on along the road? Or I need to know, are you saying that these skills are easy to get to acquire? And what are the relationship between these technologies?
Okay. All right. So let me start from the part that the skills are not easy to acquire, but I think one thing that has helped me that I think can help other people also is consistency, right? So being a project manager and a business analyst and then a cloud computing professional has been something that has always come from need. So when I mean need, you started with maybe being a project manager, and then you have other areas where your project is being influenced, and other areas which your project is being influenced by. So I have a project that I'm working on, or I have a project that I'm trying to execute, and then there is need for me to actually do a proper decision making. So I need data to be able to make that decision making. Now, if I don't have the right data, I won't be able to make that decision. So that led into business analysis. So business analysis, you are trying to identify the need of a business, either for continuous improvement sake, or maybe you're starting from the scratch, you want to have a new business, you want to understand what's the market like, what are the opportunities in the market, you want to do your elicitation, requirement gathering, and all of those things. So that alone, now it's a project, but if you don't have all of those information, you won't be able to go into the execution of that project successfully, right? So and you can only get those information from your requirements gathering. So that was where business analysis came into play. Then for cloud computing, I mean, I know that from your experience also, I mean, you are someone who is also very, very vast in technology. So you would also agree with me that cloud computing, especially post-COVID, cloud computing has been like a saving grace for businesses. So aside from saying that, okay, maybe let's say maybe the money part was what interested me in cloud computing,
Oh,
the need for the need for development and also for businesses, migrating to cloud, that was also another area, right? So because post-COVID, organizations are now migrating into cloud.
wow.
Organizations that used to have their server on-premise before, they're now seeing ways by, oh, how can we save cost? If we don't have to spend money on facility, we don't have to have a server room, we don't have to spend money on maintenance, on security, electricity bills, all of those things. So they are now migrating into cloud computing. So, and that's like a need. So if you want to, and that's another thing that I think viewers also need to take note of. You don't just transition into a career, into IT, and just stay there. Their things are evolving by the day. So if there are evolvements, you also need to be able to follow the trend. So now cloud computing is like the next big thing. So it is very, very crucial. That was one of the reasons why I said, oh, cloud computing is like the next big thing. So I need to also key into this, be able to understand why organizations are migrating to the cloud, and then come from the aspect of, oh, how can organizations maximize their expenses. So they no longer have to spend money on capital intensive hardware like the server and everything. They can just have those resources on the go. And a perfect example of the cloud is just like our Google Drive that people are familiar with, right? So that was what led me into the opportunities, becoming an AWS community builder first year, and then this is my second year as an AWS
Wow.
community builder. So that was just
Okay.
it.
So I'm very sure that we'll have to have you back here some other time to discuss intensively, talk more about the cloud computing platform, because I can see the excitement and the way you're able to explain the importance of cloud computing skills in the current workplace, right? So, and then you also mentioned interest. So, you talked about the interest and you talked about
Need.
identifying the need, the current need, relating that interest to the tech skills, and then is it in demand? Is it something that it's required in a modern workplace,
Yeah.
which is so detailed? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to ask you another question. You graduated as you studied agriculture,
Thank you.
agricultural engineering.
Engineering,
Is
yes.
it agricultural engineering?
Engineering, yes.
Okay. So you studied agricultural engineering and now you're in tech, right? I know that there are quite a number of traditional, people who apparently have this, who are currently working in the agricultural field. They would want to be able to identify tech skills or innovations that in a way can impact the profitability, the growth of their current
Businesses.
business. So like our farmers, how can they use technology innovations, right? How can they incorporate it into the agri space? Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to go back to my what I studied in school. Really, in as far as agricultural engineering is concerned, it's evolving by the day also. And while I was in school, what the major thing that we know about technology and agriculture was like precision. Like, oh, how can you introduce precision into whatever it is that you're doing? Tractors, use of tractor and everything, mechanized farming. So that was like basically what we knew then. But now that technology has also advanced, it has given us more opportunity to learn how agriculture can even be practiced in a more diverse way. For example, now we have people that are doing soilless farming.
Soilless
Yes,
farming.
soilless farming. So it means that you necessarily don't have to have soil before you can actually plant.
Wow.
Years back, nobody probably would have believed that that is something that is going to be possible, right? Then another area where I think technology can help farmers is the first thing is that there are technology tools, right? So starting from maybe selling the ideas of businesses that they have to people, having workflow tools that could help them in the day-to-day activities, like being able to identify some of the tasks, taking records and all of those things, right? So that rather than doing it the manual way, that you just have files all over the places, you start using online tools like maybe your Google Sheets, Google Documents to track your sales, to track your products and everything. And then there's also artificial intelligence parts. For example, if I in cloud computing, there is the IoT, the Internet of Things. So being able to know that, oh, irrigation can happen maybe by this particular period of time, irrigation happens. So you don't necessarily have to be there on the farm for you to start irrigating your farmland. Another thing also could be monitoring your farmland while you are away. So you don't have to physically get a security person. Well, maybe initially a farmland, for example, now maybe someone that is into poultry, you might initially be having to employ maybe 3-5 people to be able to man your farmland and your poultry, maybe as security guards. But now you could have CCTV cameras. So when you have CCTV cameras all over the place, you could have just one person that will just be there to manage the security. And on the go, wherever you are, you could just have the application on your mobile phone and then you see what is happening on your farmland. Then another thing also could be in the aspect of preservation, right? So the way farm produce used to be preserved in those days, things have actually advanced. You could have now, I am not really sure of the information, but I know that people now export produce like vegetables from Nigeria to other countries, right? Those things were not in existence before, because in fact you are buying, if you buy vegetable in the market before evening, before you get to the house, it's already spoiled.
Yeah.
Right? So but now people are exporting all of those things. The same thing with fruit also. So I think technology has really helped so many in that area. Now it is now need for the farmers in that space to be able to key into those opportunities. And then another thing is also that sometimes those technologies are quite expensive to acquire. So the government, and this is where another area where the government can actually come in. So the government can also come in to be able to actually create an enabling environment, sponsor the maybe the purchasing of these equipment, the training of these farmers, yeah, so that they are able to learn how to use this particular facility or the equipment, and then it's made available to the farmers at an affordable price. The same way they do make fertilizers and the likes available to farmers and seedlings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned soilless farming. That's very interesting to know. And you see, I usually tell people that technology is an enabler,
Yeah.
right? In every aspect, there is an integration. There's something that requires you to use the technology platform. You know, down to your phones, the mobile phones that you use, and certain other devices. They help you with efficiency and, you know, the turnaround time. Now, one other thing I would like to ask you. You see, we identify that a lot of people have talked about people in the tech field lacking some certain soft skills.
Yeah.
I would like to understand what you feel, or what skills you feel tech professionals should acquire. I know that you have knowledge in your project management. You have knowledge in business analysis. I would help you. I know that for the project management, it helps with managing projects, right? You could talk more about it. I also know that you have the business analysis skills, which has to do with processes, automation, and the likes. Now, how have you been able to integrate it, put them together, and such that it has helped those soft skills like communication skills and certain skills. Why is it important, and how have you been able to integrate it in your tech career?
All right. So thank you very much for that. Now, soft skill is very, very crucial. Very, very crucial. Communication skills, being proactive, analytical thinking, critical thinking, those are skills that are very, very important, especially in the space where we find ourselves today. There is so much competition out there. Now, you could say, "Oh, I'm very good at programming, or I'm very good at UI UX design, or I'm a software engineer, back end, front end, all of those things." There still needs to be something that will actually make you stand out, right? We could put together 5, 6, 8 software engineers that are also very, very good, but something that could make you stand out could be your communication skills. How are you able to engage people that you are working with, right? What helped me was that over the years, I've been able to build communication skills, effective communication, right? You can know everything, you can be very, very good at everything, but if that person is someone who is maybe saucy, or someone who is who is not relatable, right, it will be difficult for people to even engage you, to talk less of referring that particular person. So those are skills that I believe that audiences, people who are looking at opportunities or entering into technology, communication skills like that are very, very crucial. In fact, skills that are small as being able to send an emails, as small as being able to know how to manage your system interface. There are some people that you if you give them a laptop and say, oh, okay, put this in a folder, shared in a shared drive, do this online. As little as those things are, some people are unable to do it. I mean, I had an experience recently. Somebody was trying to send a mail and was applying for a job basically, and the person did not even maybe had a subject or introduction or whatever it is to the mail. So those things could be simple, but they are very, very important, especially for graduates that are actually going into the career field, going into the labor market. So those are little things that employers are looking out for. That, oh, yes, you might want to migrate into cloud computing, you want to transition into information technology, but it is not, you don't just you don't jump up to stay up, you climb up to stay up. So you don't just wake up one day and have all of those skills. No, those are like the basic skills that you need to actually start building. And those skills, you don't need any special person to actually teach you or to train you on how to use them. YouTube is all over the place. You could go to YouTube, learn all those DIYs, those things, do it yourself, how to compose, how to send emails, how to use the Google Doc, how to use Excel, how to use Google Sheet. So those are the things. And even there are some tools also, soft tools, like maybe the use of like Canva, tools that you can use to actually do design, 1 or 2 things that you can work around on your own. So those are things that will also help people.